Hi, everyone. Welcome to Hobbyist Now, your one-stop shop.
For all things nerdy and dirty.
That's right. That's right. I'm Claudian, and of course, this is the greatest, Nick, right here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you like what you see here.
We're also on Spotify. Our link is actually in the bio.
And we also would love to hear from you guys, so leave a comment as well. And also, we're leaving audio versions of these episodes in our actual episode profile or episode description. So go check those out too. So we're gonna start our news with some sad news. In fact, tragic news, really. This really has affected me, and I know Nick as well. The late great voice actor Kevin Conway has passed away. DC Comics confirmed on November 11th that voice actor Kevin Conroy, best known for voice of Batman and in numerous other series, films, and games, has passed away due to cancer. He was 66 years old. I initially got a message about it, and I didn't know what was going on, and then I looked it up. And for a while, I thought it was one of those fake, reports that periodically happens with people. But when eventually IGN made a post about it, which those who follow us on Instagram, we did post in fact on that, and it's unreal. He was 66.
Yeah.
He's Batman to me.
He's definitely the Batman. There is no other Batman, at least not in my opinion.
I grew up with that particular animated show, so so it's kind of crazy, but we're probably going to be doing something in honor of him next episode. We're going to definitely probably be doing a Batman episode. And we're going to highlight a little bit about his life as well, try to get that incorporated. But so we're going to move on to other news. So Doctor Who 60th anniversary specials runtime has just been revealed. After a truly shocking regeneration at the end of The Power of the Doctor, Doctor Who will return in November 2023 for the iconic series 60th anniversary special. And now the runtimes for those three episodes have been revealed. According to Doctor Who magazine via Digital Spy, the three specials will be 1 hour long spectacles. The episode will see David Tennant as the 14th Doctor, ahead of Nuta Gatwa taking over as the 15th Doctor. I know Nick isn't much of a Doctor Who, so he was like, when I told him about this, he was kind of like, huh, what? But, and for those who aren't quite familiar with Doctor Who, essentially he's an alien. He's what's called a Time Lord. And they've mastered literally, essentially, time and everything. And they have a very unique ability to basically regenerate when they die. So it's kind of like the mechanism for how there's so many different actors that were. And they're humanoid, so they're humans. They come from Gallifrey, and it's pretty interesting. The show's pretty campy, and it still is. I actually did not watch the more recent season because I wasn't really a fan of the Doctor, but and it was kind of going downhill anyways prior to that reincarnation. So, but to see Tennant, I might have to watch that one. He was my favorite Doctor, and he's probably really a real good energy. So did Matt Smith. So that will be really exciting. I'm going to move over to you though, Nick.
So there was recently a man arrested for selling a bootleg copy of Dragon Ball's manga debut issue. Ishikawa Prefectural Police revealed on Wednesday that they arrested a 50-year-old male resident of Tokyo Sumida's ward for allegedly selling a bootleg copy of 1984 issue 51 of Shueisha's weekly Shonen Jump magazine, the debut issue of Akira Toriyama's Dragon Ball manga. The suspect supposedly stated that after his arrest that he sold the copy with no knowledge of this being a fake. Police accused the suspect of allegedly producing and selling the copy in early April, stating he knowingly committed a violation of Japan's Copyright Act. The specific issue he copied is deemed rare and sells for a lot online, due in part to it, being Dragon Ball's debut issue. So, he allegedly sold the copy for 180,000 yen, or about $1,200 US, to a 30-year-old man in Ishikawa Prefecture. But the person who received the bootleg copy apparently also possessed a genuine copy of the same issue, and upon comparison and finding the bootleg copies differing paper quality, glue binding, contacted the police regarding the issue. The official website of the Shonen Jump also posted a warning about pirated and bootleg copies of old issues, showing that the issues of the magazines were staple bound until the 10th issue in 1994 of February 21st, 1994. Also, some really good news. That time I got reincarnated as a slime will actually be getting a third season. That's probably, as of right now, one of my favorite shows to watch. I watched it like 3 times. The actual film, though, that they also have currently going, will actually open in Japan in November 25th. Crunchyroll will screen the film in all major global territories in early 2023. The film rollout overseas will start in December and will eventually include the United States, United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Canada, France, Germany, South Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and South and Central America. The staff is actually planning to screen the film in other countries and regions. So that's for what I got for right now. Claudian, let's move over to you.
Yeah, so we're going to move on, though, to games. So November of this year, November 18th, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet for the Switch will be coming out. If you've played a Pokemon game before, you'll most likely know what you'll get into for. But in these dual adventures, you'll also be able to journey quite a bit differently. Looks like new Pokemon will be added for this adventure. Generation 9 Pokemon video games, which are set in a new Spanish-inspired Pelagia region. The games each have their own legendary Pokemon, and we'll have all new Pokemon to follow. Sounds exciting. I know Nick will be on that. It's been a while since I bought Pokemon. I'll probably hop in. I've been meaning to get a new Pokemon.
These Switch games are pretty good, so yeah.
Also, November 22nd, a game I didn't even know about until we were going through this stuff. Evil West, coming up for the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, XS, and PC. Evil West is a third-person shooter in the game. The player assumes control of Jesse Rentner, a vampire hunter. Jesse is equipped with some powerful firearms, including a 6-shot pistol, a rifle, and a flamethrower, and melee weapons, including a gauntlet that can accumulate electrical energy and an axe. Enemies can be stunned and stagger following the melee attack, allowing players to execute them using a special finisher move. Players can also use the environment to their advantage. So that's kind of interesting, having destructive environments. It might be a fun game. November 22nd as well, Ship of Fools for the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series XS, and Switch, and PC. They will be released on. Ships of Fools is a seafaring roguelite co-op game where you play the fools, the only creatures fool enough to brave the sea. The great lighthouse that once protected the archipelago is broken, and a storm of melee and corruption is coming. Together, you and your shipmates will jump aboard the Storm Rider and make your voyage across the sea. Man the guns, ready your sails, and protect your ship from sea monsters over multiple runs. It's it's up to you to defend your home from the almighty aqua apocalypse. Like that. That might be fun. That might be real fun. I love seamanship stuff. But all right, moving to you, Nick. Your favorite.
Oh yeah. So all these figures will actually be coming out December of this year. We will actually start off with one of my favorite TV shows, actually, The Boys, Mediacom Toy, Mafex, Homelander. He will run you about $60. He's got plenty of points of articulation. He's a very good looking figure. Like, he's kind of just ripped out of the show.
You're a very good looking figure, my friend.
Thank you. And then we move on to another awesome show, Kimetsu no Yaiba, Rengoku. He's a he's a larger statue figure. He will run you about $225. So much detail, really just such a good. It's actually a scene taken from the movie. Just like I said, absolutely beautiful figure. Definitely worth the price point. Then we have the Aquamarine Ultraman Nenroid Ultraman suit, who will run you about $44. He's got different faces. I mean, he's just like any other Nenroid figure. Moving over to Claudian.
Yeah, so I guess to my favorite thing, from for those who do know me, but yeah, Studio Ghibli, and who've done things like Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, Howl's Moving Castle, has just posted on Twitter a tweet on Thursday with a video teasing the Lucasfilms logo, of course, Lucasfilm, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, etc., followed by the Studio Ghibli logo, which might be pretty exciting because, for people that look into like Facebook and stuff, there are plenty artist renditions of what things would look like with kind of the Ghibli atmosphere to it, and maybe finally actually having some sort of partnership that might be really interesting, like a Star Wars Ghibli kind of thing. That'd be kind of real dope.
Kind of akin to the animator who did Castlevania, who did the Dragon Ball little short. What is it, like 8 minutes or something?
Yeah, and I'm pretty stoked for that, to be honest. So I'm gonna move back to you, Nick.
So Hunter x Hunter and Yu Yu Hakusho crossover picture was just actually recently dropped for the new release of the Hunter x Hunter continuation of the manga. So Hunter x Hunter series creator Yoshihiro Togashi is actually back in action with a highly anticipated next chapter of the long on hiatus action series, but with this special art. You'll see it over here. I mean, we all really know who would win that fight anyways, but it'd be interesting to see if they actually crossed over. And then Claudian, we can actually move on to you for the start of our main topic, our meat and potatoes.
Yeah, the meat and the fat potatoes, as we say here. So little disclaimer, we are very well aware once again that this, first of all, we're going to be talking about Yu Yu Hakusho. If people who aren't watching this and just listen to the audio and hasn't seen our desk, we clearly are littered with awesome stuff from the franchise, but we do understand that there are tons of comic books, not comic books, I'm sorry, manga, tons of collectibles, and
cards, games.
We get that. Again, we're for our insanity, for the you guys, the viewers, we're gonna really narrow in on very specifics on a few things. So those are gonna be these following games. So yes, we're going to be skipping the stuff from the 90s and going into the early 2000s and 2010s. So, so we're going to start with the first one, Yu Yu Hakusho, Spirit Detective, which came out on December 9th, 2003. It's a video game for the Game Boy Advance, and based on the manga and anime series. The player takes control of one of 6 characters from the series, must complete various objectives from collecting items to completing mazes to battling enemies and occasional bosses, of course, the typical Game Boy Advance
Oh yeah, of course.
game. So moving to you, Nick, what we got next?
So this one, a lot more people might actually be more familiar with, is Yu Yu Hakusho: The Dark Tournament. This one was released in September on September 21st, 2004. It is a video game for the PS2 home game console based on the popular anime manga series. Dark Tournament is a 3D fighting game where the player progresses by completing specific objectives tied to a combat system. These objectives range from following simple commands to full-out battles with opponents' characters. Each unique character can utilize a number of basic attacks, moves, as well as strong spirit attacks. Dark Tournament was developed by Digital Fiction and published by Atari in North America and Europe as part of a distribution deal for the latter. Both the animation company Parrot and English licensor Funimation, which is currently Crunchyroll, it had limited involvement in the game's production. Dark Tournament is the second Yu Yu Hakusho game that never saw a release in Japan and actually had a roster of about 25.
Oh, wow.
Claudian, we'll move over to you.
Wow, yeah, that's man. Talk about replayability. Like,
oh God, yeah.
Anyways, yeah, we're gonna go to Yu Yu Hakusho Tournaments Tactics, November 18th, 2004. Yu Yu Hakusho Tournaments Tactics is a video game for the Game Boy Advance. It is based on the manga and anime series. Tournament Tactics is a tactical role-playing game. Gameplay involves having the player move up to 5 characters on a grid-like battlefield, kind of like Final Fantasy Tactics, sort of.
That's exactly what it sounds like.
Engaged enemies, units, and complete objectives. As players' characters gain experience points, they level up, improving their statistics and granting them access to special spirit attacks. Tournament Tactics was co-developed by Sensory Sweep Studios and Screaming Games as part of a publishing deal for Atari to distribute Yu Yu Hakusho games outside of Japan. Tournament Tactics is the third Yu Yu Hakusho game that never saw a release in Japan. Man, that's crazy that anytime you think that'd be their home base, and yet they never released there. Crazy. Back to you, Nick.
So the next game is Yu Yu Hakusho Forever, which was released on May 19th, 2005 in Japan. The game was on PlayStation 2. It is a 3D fighting game where the player progresses by completing the same stuff basically as Dark Tournament. This one actually had 5 less characters than the Dark Tournament, but it included more characters from the actual final season, Yome and stuff like that. So it was interesting more in that fact, as it had different characters, but 5 less, as unfortunate as that is. Claudian, why don't we move on to you?
Yeah, so we're actually going to be going to our first DS game, Yu Yu Hakusho DS, and Kuku, Bujutsu, Kai Hen. Original release date was September 21st, 2006 on the Nintendo DS. The game starts with the Spirit Detective Saga. It is a JRPG in the same style as Spirit Detectives. And yeah, moving to you, Nick.
The Battle of Yu Yu Hakusho Shinto Akuku Bujutsu Kai. It was released in Japan on September on 2006 for the arcade, and September 11th, 2007 for the PlayStation 2. This is actually the final 3D Yu Yu Hakusho fighting game. It was developed by Dimps and released by Banpresto, exclusive to Japan. Ported. It was actually a port from the Dark Tournament game. And that if you look this game up, I'll probably put a picture up here just so you can see. It looks exactly the same as the Dark Tournament. It pretty much has the exact same characters. It was just a port. Claudian, we'll move on to you.
Yeah, actually moving on to another platform. This is going to be Android and iOS. Yu Yu Hakusho 100% Meiji Battle, released in 2018. Published by K-Labs, developed by Axel Game Studios, and it was a free-to-play RPG basically a gotcha game. It's a mobile command RPG based on the series. You get to fight in teams of 5, similar to the One Piece mobile game. We're gonna move back to you, Nick.
So some of the other actual games, I mean, these aren't specifically Yu Hakusho games, but the Jump Superstars games,
Hmm.
which was released on August 8th, 2005 in Japan for the Nintendo DS, this game actually came with a special red Nintendo DS. Um, these games were, in my opinion, I played them when I was younger, were fantastic. Um, it's a 2D crossover fighting game. It involves Goku, Naruto, everyone from the Shonen Jump universe. It's really cool. If you can get your hands on it, or however you can get your hands on this, it's worth the play. Claudian, why don't you go to our next game?
Yeah, we're gonna go to Jump Ultimate Stars. It's gonna be very similar to the previous game we talked about. It was released November 23, 2006 in Japan. It was for the Nintendo, developed by Ganbara. Features 1 stage and 6 characters from the YuYu Hakusho series, 3 of them being playable. Back to you, Nick.
J-Star's Victory Versus, which was released in 2014 for the PlayStation 3 and the Vita. It was released in Japan on March 2014, North America June 2015, and Eastern Europe June 2015. It only features 1 stage, and I think the 3 characters, Kuwabara, Yusuke, and I want to say Hihei.
Yeah.
So the more popular ones. As far as that game's concerned, I mean, it's the same as the other 2 at the top, just this one's 3D as opposed to a 2D side scroll fighting game. Claudian.
Yeah, actually, this will be the one that will finish off the games. It will be Jump Force, which you can go to any I think any GameStop now and find a used copy of.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. Original release in Japan was February 14th, 2019, and then they had its worldwide release February 15th, so a day later. It was released for the PS4. It was published by Bandai Namco and developed by Spike Chunsoft. Features again 3 playable characters from the Yu Yu Hakusho series. And
so before we actually leave that game, I played Jump Force.
Yeah.
As much as I would love for people to support this game, it's really not good. If you're gonna go to a game, go to J-Star's Victory Versus or one of the DS games. They're far better. They're way more fun, and yeah, that's just my suggestion. Do what you want, but yeah, that was it. So,
yeah, surprisingly enough, a lot of these games, when reading up on them, had mostly lukewarm to poor reviews, really.
Yeah.
So, you know what you're getting into when you're getting into these kind of games. So they're usually hit or misses. So that concludes kind of our games. We're gonna move on to the real meat and potatoes. Start the manga, I believe. We're gonna run through sort of its
more of like a
life.
Yeah, just an overview of all of it.
Yeah. So Yu Yu Hakusho manga series was written and illustrated by Yoshihiro Togashi and was originally serialized by Shoeisha in the Shonen Manga magazine Weekly Shonen Jump from December 3rd, 1990 to July 25th, 1994. The manga consists of a whopping 175 chapters spanning 19 tenkabu, and the first one being released on April 10th, 1991, and the last one released on December 12th, 1994. Holy smokes. Wow. Talk about a long time ago. Good old days, right? Between August 4th, 2004 and March 4th, 2005. Shoeisha released the Kanziban complete editions of the manga. Each of the Kanziban volumes feature a new cover and more chapters than the Takabon edition. Yu Yu Hakusho is also been published as part of the Shown Asia Jump Remix series of magazine-style books. 9 volumes were released between December 22, 2008 to April 27th, 2009. A bookable version began publication on November 18th, 2010, and was finished on October 18th, 2011.
An English translation of the Yu Hakusho manga was serialized in North America by Viz Media in the American Shonen Jump magazine, where it debuted in its inaugural January 2003 edition and ended in January 2010. Viz released all 19 collected volumes of the English manga between May 2003 and March 2010. A total of 176 chapters exist in the format due to Viz treating the extra non-numbered chapter Yu Hakusho Tales Two Shot found in Volume 7, which tells the tale of how Kurama and Hihei first met, as the 64th chapter. Viz later released the series digitally as a part of the digital manga releases between 2013 and 2014, and later added it to the Comixology digital releases. The Yu Hakusho manga has additionally been licensed and published across Asia, Europe. A French translation from Kana, for example, began publication in 1997.
Yu Yu Hakusho anime adaptation was directed by uh, Norikai Abe and co-produced by Fuji Television, Yokomo Advertising, and Studio Parrot. The series, consisting of 112 episodes, aired from October 10th, 1992 to December 17th, 1994 on Fuji Television. The episodes were released on 23 video cassettes. Remember cassettes? By Pony Canal from January 1st to 1995 to December 6, 1995. They were also released on 28 DVD volumes by Beam Entertainment, with volumes 8 through 14 being released on March 25th, 2002, volumes 15 to 21 being released on April 25th, 2002, and volumes 22 to 28 being released on May 25th, 2002. The anime differs from its manga source material by containing different levels of violence and profanity, as well as minor variations in the art style from one to the other. In early 2001, the series was acquired by Funimation Entertainment for North America distribution as Yu Yu Hakusho Ghost Files. Funimation Productions saw a significant contribution from the great voice actor Justin Cook, who not only directed the dub but also voiced the protagonist Yusuke.
The American produced English dub episodes aired from February 2002 to April 2006 on Cartoon Network. Initially, the series was shown on the channel's Adult Swim programming block from February 2002 to April 2003, but was later removed to Toonami. Some of the show's original depictions of mature content, including violence, sexual humor, and coarse language, as well as some controversial cultural discrepancies, were edited out of the broadcast. Yu Hakusho was taken off Toonami around 2005 and moved to early Saturday morning time slot that October, when the series was finished, or where it would finish its run. It was also aired uncut as part of Funimation programming block on Colors TV in 2006 and the Funimation channel in high definition in 2011. Following Sony's acquisition of Crunchyroll, the series was moved, to Crunchyroll.
The series was distributed in United Kingdoms by MVM Films, and in Austria and New Zealand by Madman Entertainment. In India, the English language version of the series was released as Ghost Fighter. Yu Yu Hakusho was localized in the Philippines as Ghost Fighter and aired on IBC in the mid-1990s, as well as on GMA Network in 1999. This version of the dub localized the characters' names, such as changing Yusuke to Eugene.
Funimation separated the series into 4 seasons that each compose their own story arc, which they refer to as sagas. In North America, 32 DVD compilations have been released by Funimation for the 4 sagas, with the first released on April 2002 and the last on July 2005. The episodes have been released in both edited and uncut formats. In addition, DVD collection boxes have been released for all 4 sagas, each containing all episodes of that particular saga, with the exception of course, the Dark Tournament saga, which was split into 2 collection boxes. Funimation released season box sets and of the anime, and starting with the season 1 on July 8th, 2008, and ending with season 4 on July 13th, 2009. Each set contains 4 DVDs, which have 28 episodes, or 1/4 of the whole series. Funimation began releasing the seasons on Blu ray disc on May 31st, 2011. Cook has stated that the production staff has made minor improvements to the recordings, such as redubbing certain lines, cleaning up dialogue, and removing errant anomalies. Japanese home video distributor Bandai Visual began releasing the series on Blu-ray discs on October 27, 2009, with the first set containing a picture drama of the set after the series had wrapped, and they reunited for some new dialogue. And then Claudian, we can move on to you for the
Just
rundown.
imagine Kuropower saying, instead of "Hey, yo, yes, Kay, I gotta come back to fight," it'd be like, "Oh, Eugene, gotta
Oh
come back
God,
and fight." Imagine
no,
just how
I can't.
disorientating that would have been. That would be,
Oh yeah, just hearing
um,
Eugene.
yeah, Eugene, I gotta fight you, Eugene. Yeah. Anyways, so we're gonna move to the actual anime now. We're gonna go with course in order. So season one, which is the Spirit Detective Saga. The episodes from October 1992 to April 1993 on Fuji Television in Japan. The English episodes aired on February 2002 to April 2003. The first 21 episodes were shown on Cartoon Network's Adult Swim programming block, with reruns playing after July 2002. New episodes began airing in sometime in April 2003, when the episodes began showing on Cartoon Network's Toonami programming block. The seasons have now subchapters. So the subchapters for season one was Yusuke's Ordeal, which are episodes 1 through 5. Artifacts of Darkness, which is episodes 6 through 8. Genkei's Tournament, which is 9 through 13. Beasts of the Maze, which is 14 to 21. And Rescue of Yukai,
Yukina.
Yukinai, 22 to 25. So, what is all this about? Yusuke dies while trying to save the life of a young boy. In return, he was given another chance to live by Raikai's spirit world as a spiritual world detective, with the help of Konama, Prince of the Spirit World, which he's like a little baby dude, and Botan, the Spirit World representative, and his girlfriend Kiko. He returns to life. Revived, Yusuke returns to his old self with new challenges to meet, having a mission of protecting his own world from the monsters lurking beneath. He meets two allies, Kurama, the wolf demon, and Henhei, the the
Hihei.
Hihei, the multi-eyed dynamic monster. Later on, he joins a competition by the great Genkei, with the winners to receive her power. There, he tracks a powerful demon named Sharan, whom he was able to defeat. Winning the competition, he receives intense training from the great Genkei, and together with his best friends Kurabara and Kunama and Hey Hey, he went on a mission to fight when he could get his toughest assignment yet. the four powerful demons of the Meikai demon world, who was planning to conquer the human world. After overcoming its all odds, he receives the next mission, which was to rescue a girl by the name of Yukai, and there he meets a dynamic force named Toguro. So, what can I say about season one? It's phenomenal. I mean, it's pinnacle 90s style. Um, only have ever listened to the English dub, so I don't really. I'm kind of curious what the Japanese version would sound like with the original audio, But um, I always, if you really wanted the what should have been for every version of Funimation, like for every anime, it should have been like this, where I thought it was done superbly, in my opinion. Nick, what do you got to say about season one?
So, as far as season one is concerned, I do love it. The only thing is though is it's missing a lot of stuff from the first few chapters
Yeah,
of the actual Spirit Detective like manga,
yeah,
and that's actually why they label these little sub chapters for this is literally due to that. Um, so I mean, it's really one of the better adaptations from
yeah.
a manga. That's for damn sure. I mean, it's what sparked my love for this series and this author.
Would you argue that it's basically one of the gold standards, essentially?
Oh yeah.
Like, because almost a lot of things definitely never hit this high.
Oh
Like,
no.
you and I had done, like, for example, our first episode, um, and dealing with Yu-Gi-Oh, and it was like they're not even close, like, to the quality, and that was later too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that was much more financially driven and stuff. But yeah, and yeah, so this was really this to me has a special place in my heart. I remember like because there was a time for the youngins out there where this stuff was not accessible. Like Yu Yu Hakusho was like a myth, basically. It was like that show was like, oh yeah, there's a show. It's called Yu Yu Hakusho. It's like, oh, okay. Like there was really no way of getting it at all. Like,
No.
I used to get like DVDs. I'm sorry. Wow, I have to go further back. VHS that were just ripped with like just generic stuff, and I think I had like 2 episodes of Yu Yu Hakusho on it and stuff like that, next to like other obscure stuff. But yeah, I mean, to me it defines definitely a certain spirit of like anime and sort of definitely a discipline that I don't you don't see it much anymore. Like
No.
for something as televised as this was, obviously there was. I mean, you can't argue against something like Akira, the greatest film ever, like as far as anime wise goes. But still, it's I thought it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like,
What would you rate it?
um, this one I would rate. This one I would honestly rate not as probably high as what you would think, but like definitely like an 8.5, which is pretty good. 8.59 out of 10. It's I don't have any problems with it or anything. It's phenomenal. But like knowing that there was really some stuff out there that was doing astronomically crazy, like like more or less the OVAs, stuff like that. So I have to bump it down because I just know that there were stuff out there that was like almost, well, I'd actually just say just straight up mind blowing, as far as what they were doing, versus like something like this. But yeah, it's phenomenal. It's still 8.5. Actually, I'll give it a 9. What about you, Nick? What do you?
Season one is, or the first saga,
Yeah.
is not actually one of my favorite ones.
Okay.
The Spirit Detective. It does start it off, but It's very minor things. I mean, it them going to the demon world is pretty cool at that one point, and they
Yeah.
fight the four saint demons. That's pretty cool. But overall, probably an 8.5, 9 at the very highest. It's not my favorite one, and it does introduce one of my favorite characters, but Toguro, but you don't really get to see a whole hell of a lot of him.
Well, why I rate this so high um, is actually none of those stuff. It's honestly all the stuff when they're just walking around and stuff like that. I thought they did such a phenomenal job,
Yeah,
like
of story building
just
and
like that. Without
uh,
I'm not talking even
universe
like being in the
building.
demon world or any like I mean like literally like they're just on Earth, just chilling around, up to shenanigans, and I kind of really enjoyed that. I found high enjoyment, which I know is like totally not what the show isn't necessarily about. Obviously, the spiritual element, but it was actually all this just, especially further down, just the normal stuff. I thought was kind of like decent, like like his mother and and his and all the other people that were like the principal and all that,
Yeah.
and like those guys that are trying to like those sleazy substitute whatever they are
Oh yeah, the
teachers.
teacher.
Yeah, like I don't know. I like those. It's weird. I know that's not what you would expect, but that's kind of one of the things I really attracted to that show was
All right, then we'll
so
move on.
season 2, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
season two, the Dark Tournament saga. The episodes aired from April 1993 to January 1994 in Japan on Fuji Television. The first 29 episodes of the English adaptation of the anime were aired between April and May 2003 on Cartoon Network's Toonami programming block. Yu Hakusho was then removed from Toonami's listings until January 2004 when reruns of old episodes were shown. New episodes began airing April 2004, and the last of the episodes of the saga were shown in July 2004. In the midst of rescuing Yukina from the evil clutches of a greedy man named Tarukane, they met and somehow defeated one of his henchmen named Toguro. Kuwabara, who joined Yusuke in his mission, was instantly infatuated with Yukina, unknown to him that he was Hihei's little sister. Later on, they find out that Toguro was in no way defeated, and he only used Tarukane to meet a person such as Yusuke. He confronted Yusuke and showed him his true strength and an immeasurable power Yusuke thought that never existed. He challenges him to join the Dark Tournament, a tournament of demons. He never did Yusuke know that joining this tournament was a big mistake, a mistake that would actually threaten him and his very friends' own lives. Still, he was up to the challenge, and he defied the odds by surviving the horror and advancing the tournament, beating powerful demons in the process, and at the same time getting the experience he needed for his dream rematch with Toguro. Later, he discovers the truth behind his rival and his mysterious relationship with his master Genkai. After Toguro and Genkai have settled their own altercation, it was up to Yusuke to continue the legacy of his master and defend his pride as a true warrior. Um, so this is my actual favorite season.
Hmm.
It contains the Team Toguro. I absolutely love all of the fights in the Dark Tournament.
Yeah.
Um, this one, I'm pretty much just gonna jump straight to the rating. This one was like a 9 or a 10 for me.
Okay.
I absolutely love this saga. I can rewatch it over and over and over. I love the animation. I love the fights. They were fantastic. I love the characters that they introduced. And plus, one of my favorite Yu Hakusho games, the Dark Tournament, actually involves this season. And this is actually the one that I accidentally ended up watching when I was a child, which got me into this.
Okay.
So it's a little bit more faithful to the actual manga, so that's also nice. Claudia.
Well, I felt like this was, I guess, because you're going straight to rating. I would actually have to rate it the same again, on around that 9. For me, I'm not. I don't know. I'm this is gonna be a real hot take, but I'm actually not a bad. I'm not a fan of like tournament stuff. It's just in everything,
Mm-hmm.
and it just to me, it's kind of like so overly done, like in everything. It's like, oh.
But this is
Like,
the thing that started it.
I get it, and that's why I still give it a 9. You know what I mean? But like otherwise, it would have been a 10 if it wasn't just the whole tournament thing. Because I get it. This is honestly probably the peak
Yeah.
of Yu Yu Hakusho. It's
100%.
definitely this.
I mean,
it dips down a little bit in the next one, and then
even the figures.
Yeah.
Like most of them that you see, like this Yusuke
yeah,
that I have down here, the Nenroid is actually, that's what he's from. This is from a scene in that. So
yeah.
like,
Look at this thing. This thing is so cool, by the way. Like, look at this. I'm gonna put this on my camera.
oh, the little kilowatt.
Just so you guys like can see this thing. Like, that's so adorable. Like, that's like, yeah, like, like, but yeah, no, yeah, I mean, I would have given it like a 10, honestly. Like, if it just wasn't tournament so heavy on tournament, and maybe just because we just were watching Yu-Gi-Oh, and I was just like, oh, like, and then we went to next anime we talk about. It's basically this, and it's like, oh, tournaments, oh, like, but no, it's fortunate. It keeps it kept going. Like, I didn't mention this too much about in the first one, but like, the color timing is still the same, which is decent. It's like colors that's supposed to look like what they're supposed to be are actually true, like blacks, greens. You know what I mean? There's no like. And then Nick and I, we had watched a Dragon Ball Z movie, and the
Wrath of the Dragon.
That I was so confused by what's called color timing, which is like what gives that certain like red or pinks or blacks or whatever, you know. And I was like, everything was just a weird like mesh of like weird, disgusting like Pepto Bismol pink, and like I was like really confused. It was like very disorientating, but you don't get that with Yu Yu Hakusho. So, and yeah, so definitely for me a 9. You know, it's if you like the first season, I think this is just it follows it. But it gets real tournament heavy, that's for sure. And I guess it goes back to me. Does it go back to moi? It goes back to moi. Anyways, yeah, so we're gonna do now season 3. And it's called The Black Saga. And the episode aired from February 1994 to August 1994 in Japan on Fuji Television. The first 22 English episodes were originally shown on July 2004 to January 2005 on Cartoon Network Toonami programming block. The new episodes began airing in October 2005, with the saga concluding in November 2005. So, Yusuke returns to the human world only to find out that a mysterious force has opened up a dimensional gate transporting monsters from the demon world to invade the human world. In order to prevent the unstoppable attack, he and his friends went on a mission to search for the source of the pandemonium. Leading the pack of aggressions was a man by the name of Senway, the Dark Angel, a former spiritual world detective himself. Together with his 7 gatherers, they fulfilled the dreams of Sakio and Togaro's overseers of the dark tournaments to connect the demon world and the human world. Fearing the worst, Yusuke desperately tries to end the scenario by confronting Senway and his associates. Despite getting by the others, Yusuke fails to match up against Senway, who exhibits incomprehensible strength. Even Koama and his spiritual powers cannot stop a demon like Senway, which eventually leads to Yusuke losing his life. Once again, his friends try dearly for revenge, but still cannot match up to the power as strong as Senway. Suddenly, a dynamic force awakens from within Yusuke and brought him back to life, and with his newly found strength, he challenges Senway once again to end it all. So yeah, we went from tournaments to a lot of like bouncing around in this season. It was very, I actually like it because it's kind of stuff I like. Like, so like parallels from like tournament to just there's a mystery now who's doing it, and it's like, oh, there's a big boss dude, you know. It's like, who's this? Like, and I kind of like that. I've always been a fan of that, anyways. Um, so yeah, I'd give this, I'd give this probably for rating wise, I would actually give this an 8.5. Just like the first season. Because second season did have it's just kind of like iconic in its own way. But third season definitely I really enjoyed. Lot of involvement with characters, just a lot of moving parts, and I enjoyed that. A lot of locations. So
So I'll
Nick,
just jump straight to my
uh-oh,
rating for this one.
uh-oh.
I give this one like a, it's not bad, and it does give me one of my favorite versions of Yusuke, the Mazuku,
Hmm.
his demon form.
Yeah.
However, this is probably my least favorite season,
Okay.
and you can definitely tell. So anyone who knows that much about Togashi, he actually gets tired of doing things.
Okay.
He also had migraines and a bunch of other like health problems at the time, and you can kind of tell that this is where it's starting to take hold, because this season is extremely rushed,
Yeah.
kind of odd, like, and very confusing. You can tell at like some points where it just like it jumps. You're just like, oh, okay, this is going on, and why?
I got such a short attention span, so I actually enjoyed that because
Oh,
it was kind of like, oh, okay, like kind of kept me interested. I don't know why.
see, with this show, I love it so much. I paid a lot, and I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but like I hate it. I try to be really careful with these, but the boxes are starting to get messed up because I've watched these
Yeah.
so many times.
That's not the one you throw on the least?
No, actually, if you, this is the one, and you can kind of tell that it is because I haven't really touched it that
That the
much.
throne.
Yeah, it's the third
That's the
season.
one where you're like, what do you think of this? Trash.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So you can kind of tell in this one that he had started more to get his health issues, which they were prevalent before, and
Yeah.
but they were really just starting to hit here, and again you can tell animation's still good, everything's still really great, but I personally don't like the story. It's a lot. It's too much going on at once for me personally. But yeah, so it's probably my least favorite of the
And that's
seasons.
interesting because I actually not that familiar with the artist, you know, so much. Like,
Hmm.
I mean, I'm familiar with Hunter x Hunter in this show, but like, I knew that he was on a hiatus forever. He goes on one like, and actually he becomes almost more famous for just when is he going to come back and do Hunter x Hunter again? Until we made those announcements, but yeah, so I was actually not aware of that. So I had such a high rating just because of the what I just didn't know. I guess my ignorance of it. I always just thought it was kind of a funny, quirky, kind of like, oh,
Oh
okay,
man, you like what you like,
like
and you know
yeah,
what? That's why we do the show together.
oh, 100%, yeah. But yeah, I could we could appreciate that. Like if you really know the artist, it's like reading that book. You read that book, then they make it into a movie, and you're just like, oh,
You probably
like
do like this more though, because it does do. You like world building.
I
You like,
do,
and
yeah,
they do a lot of that in
yeah,
this. That might also be partially why I don't like it, because the fights they're not very straightforward. They're kind of strange.
yeah.
Sensui's fight is very straightforward and it's really good. I do like Sensui as like a character. I wish they would have did more with him,
Yeah.
but it was kind of. I mean,
Well, I'm a world building whore, so
all right. So we're good to move on to
yeah.
season 4.
Oh, what was your rating again?
I gave it a 7 or a 7.5.
7. Okay,
Really, it could be either
that's still
one.
respectable,
Oh yeah, no,
and
everything.
definitely me again, 8.5. So yeah.
But
So we'll I guess
season
take
4.
it home with you on this one.
So season 4, the Saga of the Three Kings, the fourth and final season of Yu Yu Hakusho anime series known as the Saga of the Three Kings, was directed by Nirioki Abe and produced by Fuji Television, Yokamio Advertising, and Studio Parrot. The episodes were released in North America by Funimation. It adapts Togashi's Yu Yu Hakusho manga series by, well, Togashi from the 17th through the 19th volumes of over 8 episodes. The episodes cover Urameshi's journey to the demon world to meet his ancestor and his attempts to resolve the unstable political, situation in the demon world. So this season actually initially ran from August 20th to December 2000 or December 17th in 1994 on Fuji Television in Japan. The English episodes were shown from December 2005 to April 2006 on Cartoon Network's Toonami programming block. So a little bit of the story. Baffled by the birth of his demonic powers, Yusuke went back to the demon world in search of the man who brought this strength within him. Meanwhile, Kurama returned to the demon world too upon being summoned by Yome, his old comrade, and he also returned to the demon world to search for his past. And in this time, he met with Moroku. Eventually, Yusuke meets one strong demon named Ryzen, which he realizes to be his descendant from generations ago. Ryzen was the guardian of peace in the demon world, but upon his timely death, he needed someone to pass the torch on to, and it was Yusuke, which Yome and Moroku, both aspiring for the throne, wholeheartedly opposed. To settle this dispute, Yusuke instituted the Anko Buchutsukai, which is a tournament where the winner will be the new leader of the demon world. Unknown to him, he must fight his allies Kurama and Hihei, who both sided with Yome and Moroku, and more worse, he must now confront the strongest demons and that he had ever imagined. Now Yusuke must face his toughest mission ever, not as a spirit detective, but as a warrior with demonic blood running through his veins to determine the fate of the demon world and, more importantly, his destiny. So this one's kind of tough for me. I love the characters, Moroku, Yome, Ryzen,
Mm-hmm.
and like watching Yusuke get to train and all that stuff. It's very interesting. However, um, again, this is where it started to get rushed and that's why we have these figures here, because they started to move over to Hunter
Mm.
Hunter, because that's why this is so rushed, because he was moving over to Hunter Hunter, and that's why this last season, you can really tell it was just kind of like, we're done with this. It needs to end somehow. We don't care how, but it needs to end. And then that's how you ended up with Hunter Hunter. This one, an 8. I do really enjoy it. I have watched it quite a few times. I do enjoy the characters that it brings, the world building, and all that fun stuff that it brings with it. Claudian, what about you?
Yeah, this one goes back to kind of tournament kind of ordeal again, like kind of like almost like in a way it's like a train wreck because it's like boom, oh we're back to tournament format,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like oh okay. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of tournaments, but and then yeah, the whole like oh you fight your allies. Um, I, I can appreciate it. Again, 8.5 on this
That's
one.
respectable.
It's still. I mean, again, not knowing necessarily from the manga to what the animation, but um, yeah, I still enjoy. I mean, honestly, what if you can watch this, to watch Yu Yu Hakusho. If it's on Crunchyroll, the English dub.
Phenomenal series.
It's just phenomenal. But yeah, no, I get it, but I don't know. I just liked all the quirkiness of how weird it was getting and stuff. But I just try to stay. I'm just so tired of tournaments, man. It's like just tournament this, tournament that. But
And kind of touching base back on what Claudian had said on watching it, you can actually watch this on Crunchyroll, or you can go to Crunchyroll's store, which
yeah,
we're not affiliated
yeah,
with
we're
them in
not.
any way. It'd be cool,
Yeah,
but
it'd be
we're
great
not.
if you're watching Crunchyroll. Yes,
Help us out.
help us out. Help a
So
brother out.
the Yu Yu Hakusho 30th anniversary Blu-ray box set will actually be dropping January 31st of 23 for about $89. The the box set will actually contain all the episodes and then 2 new OVAs, 2 shots and All or Nothing.
Hmm.
So definitely worth the $89. I mean, I paid each one of these back when I initially bought them were $40 a piece.
Hmm.
Actually, I think this one, which I hate, I don't hate, but I don't like it as much.
The most thrown
I
one.
think this one actually cost me the most.
Yeah.
I ended up those were all 40, and then this one ended up being like 60 or something. But I had to get it because I like finishing sets.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely if you come across that or pre-order it or whatever, it's worth it. I fully intend to. I probably after once we're done with this, will be pre-ordering that because I want it. The box art looks beautiful. It is right here. You'll see. And then Claudian, you can either move us
Again, I'm
on.
gonna have a hot take about Blu-ray anime, like especially the old stuff. Honestly, like if you can find these on DVD, just get these on DVD. The new anime. You'll get. I would see you get depreciation out of it, but like the conversion they do is just not that great. Where I think just like they fix, like they'll do a lot of color fixes and stuff, but like um they don't really like, they're not like taking it from like original negatives or anything. They're just taking it from an already recorded thing, and they're just I don't know. It's a hot take about Blu-ray animes, like the old vintage stuff. I have a couple, but I mean, it's cool, it's dope. But if you can just honestly find these for a lot cheaper, like at your
You can't find these ones that I have in front of me for cheaper.
oh really? Okay, well then go. Well, what do you? Don't listen to me. Go get the shit. Go.
I
Go.
looked these up before. I was just curious because I was
Yeah.
going to tell everyone, but these are unfortunately much more expensive now.
Okay. Well, or just streaming.
I mean, yeah, Crunchyroll's got it. So,
Yeah, and I'm a big collector and stuff, so believe me, it just
clearly we
yeah,
are.
but Blu-ray I don't know. I until they really like straight up do it right. I think for anime, old anime, I'm talking about, not the new stuff. Like if you a new movie that's anime or a new show that's anime, go get it on Blu-ray, like or 4K, like Attack on Titan or something. But I'm talking about like old stuff. It just never, like Cowboy Bebop. I'm like watching on 4K.
Yeah, see,
I'm
that
like
really doesn't add anything.
I'm looking at it. I'm like,
How the only thing I have to say to that though, not to turn this into a really long conversation about
yeah,
Blu-ray versus DVD,
yeah.
um,
Like I said, it was a hot
you
take.
have to touch these
Yeah,
with such gentle hands. You have to be careful when you're putting them back in because DVDs, for those of you who are old enough to remember these, because most things are pretty much fucking Blu-ray at this
yeah,
point. They scratch super easily. If
yeah,
you look at them weird, they scratch. So in my opinion, Blu-rays, especially for those who are pretty rough with stuff. I mean, my hands are calloused, so just
yeah.
touching them in general I mean, I have calluses on the side of my finger. Like no matter how much I wash, there's just oil and stuff stuck in them.
Yeah, we're hardworking people. We
Yeah.
actually work a lot. Like,
So
and
just for the sake of not having to worry about them being scratched is
yeah,
really what my suggestion would be. Plus, as of right now, that would be your cheapest way to get the whole series,
yeah, 100%.
plus the 2 OVAs.
Yeah,
And then yeah, Claudian, if you want, just
yeah. We'll
move us
go
on.
over to. We're gonna do something we haven't really done yet. I don't think.
No, I don't think
We're
so.
gonna talk a little bit about the actual creator himself. So Togashi. His earliest published works for Shueisha included I Am Not Afraid of the Wolf, a collection of comedy manga short stories that were on Weekly Shonen Jump, published some of the stories prior to the Takabu release in 1989. Between 1989 and 1990, Togashi authored An Ill-Tempered Cupid in Heaven, a 4-volume romance manga involved in romance between a normal human boy and a beautiful evil girl. In 1990, Togashi made a name for himself with his next series, the one we just spoke about, Yu Yu Hakusho, or also known as Poltergeist Report, based on his interest in, of all things, the occult and horror films. The manga went on to sell over 50 million copies worldwide, earning Togashi the uh, Shoga Kokugan Manga Award in 1994 and received a hit anime adaptation. In 1995, he created Level E, a science fiction comedy manga comprising of 3 volumes. It was first published in Weekly Shonen Jump in 1995 and ran until 1997. Level E was adapted into a anime television series in 2011. So if anyone wants to check that out, uh, Togashi next major series, which I think he's almost more famous for, Hunter x Hunter, is a action adventure manga. Began serialization in 1998. The story revolves around the protagonist Gon, a young boy in search of his father, who is a legendary elite member of the society called Hunter. This manga also performed very well commercially, with its first 20 volumes selling nearly 55 million copies in Japan as of August 2011. In 2008, Togashi tied with One Piece author uh, Ichiro Oda as the 5th favorite anime artist from a poll posted by the marketing research firm Oricon. In 2017, Togashi wrote the 2-chapter manga Akuten Wars. It was illustrated by Hachi Mazu and published in the September and November issues of Grand Jump Premiere.
And so from there, we'll actually move on to. I know this is kind of a little bit at the end, but we wanted to make sure we got a lot of that stuff out of the way. So some like differences and facts, kind of either about Togashi or the differences in the manga
Mm-hmm.
and the anime adaptation. So Quenma actually doesn't have a sidekick in the manga. So our all of our favorite character, George the ogre,
Mm-hmm.
uh, he's not in there. Not at all. I love him, but he was just really there for slapstick comedy. Yusuke actually has a bunch of vices that he has: drinking, smoking, he gambles. But obviously, those were all removed from the TV thing because of they got to make it family friendly, especially if they're going to be putting it on like Cartoon Network. So Kuwabara and Yukina, actually, Yukina is his sister actually plans to stay with Kuwabara at the end of the manga, but in the anime, as all of you know, she actually ends up staying with Genkai and helping her with the temple. The Makai tournament battles, these ones are kind of interesting. So some of these battles are actually only found in the anime, such as Hokushin versus Shishimara, and then Koju versus Toya, and Kurama versus Shigure. While there is actually an exclusive one in the manga too, which is Tobuso versus Zakuro, and Yome versus Kuko. So and again, like I said, facts about Togashi. He's actually married to Sailor Moon's author,
Mm-hmm.
Naoko Takuichi. And this one's kind of a little bit of both. Hihei is actually one of the most popular characters in the series, and in an anime as a whole, he was actually ranked the 5th most popular male character of the 1990s by New Type magazine, and the first, second, and third most popular in Anime Grand Prix for 3 years running. But Hihei actually wasn't originally meant to be a like forever character. He kind of just ended up getting convinced to keep him on, which for those who know about like Hunter x Hunter, it's similar with that too. Some of the characters weren't meant to stay or die. Like he planned on killing Gon off at one point in the Hunter x Hunter series, and he ended up keeping him. So a lot of this stuff just changed just on a whim because that's how he felt. And you'll, especially those who are reading the current issues of Hunter x Hunter, you'll really see that in that. So, but other
Yeah.
than that, I really think this is kind of the
This is
end of
it.
the line for the Spear Detective.
Yep. And hopefully we see more maybe down the line.
Well,
Like,
there is that terrible Netflix adaptation.
oh god, we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
All right, we're done with the show now. We're not going to go down that road. But yes, yes, you brought it up. So yes, currently there is currently terrible production issues right now with it. So who knows if it'll even come out now? But yes, there will be a supposed live action.
Oh, and then one more thing before we go. There actually is a there's talks, and it's been talked about for years, but this seems to be the closest we've been of a complete revamp of Yu Hakusho as a whole.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
that would be interesting to see.
Yeah, maybe that'll fix a lot of your qualms about.
Oh god, that'd be so nice.
But that was it. That was YuYu Hakusho. We love you guys. Again, comment, like, share, say hi to us. We're friendly.
Yeah,
we're friendly sometimes. All right,
for the most part.
yeah. Adios.
Bye. Thank you for coming by.